Good evening. We are delighted to have you here for this evening's recording of Songs of Praise.
Sorry? Yeah.
Was it not quite songs?
Oh, I say.
Something else.
The gender what?
Gender bit queer.
The gender queer.
Yes.
Oh, well, let's do this again.
We're delighted to have you here for this evening recording of the Gender Queer Playhouse.
Now, I don't want you to be disappointed because chlorine has affected this. It has. It was bigger, but chlorine has made it small. This is what I was using. So I just had, I mean, it is very small. They shrink. They shrink in the water, you know. So this would sit in the trunks. And then I got really worried. I was thinking, well, what say it was to float out of my trunk bed? I mean, imagine seeing your penis maybe in the fast lane.
Me? I'm your bastard daughter, white trash whore, sister, bitch, goddess, fuck you in the ass, nightmare kind of a girl.
Alright, ducks. I went on down to London town with Jess the other day to see the sights, the shining lights, so frivolous and gay. In Bethnal Green, oh what a scene, I had to stop and stare. Lovers and fighters,
Dirty blighters.
it's all going on down there. To Oxford House, find cat and mouse, they came from all around.
Those reefs and streams from Halliwee.
All kinds of lost and found. Those highfalutin, whistling, fluting, queuing round the block. Oh, those lovers and fighters.
Dirty blighters.
It began to stir my...
All right, ducks, let's keep it clean, shall we?
Well, I'm telling you, come on, real quick.
Yeah, hey!
All right, girl, last verse. Here we go. We took our seats awaiting treats, our teeth both short and tall. They made us laugh, they made us cry from start to curtain call. We called for more, our voices sore from shame we're surgically. Oh, you lovers and fighters,
Dirty blighters.
just you wait and see.
Oh bon, je m'assieds, gelatin style, gelatin style. Bon, je m'attends, gelatin style, gelatin style. Oh bon, je m'assieds, gelatin style, gelatin style. Bon, je m'attends, gelatin style, gelatin style.
I'm free.
Yeah, I know. Good evening. I thought I'd talk to you this evening a little bit about using men's changing rooms when you don't have a penis. See, first tip. Men don't wear their towels like a dress, they wear them like a skirt. Do you know? I always hate, you know when people say, oh, men are like this and women are like this, yeah? And I hate that, and I'll always say, no, they're not like that. But, I'll tell you something. Men's changing rooms, women's changing rooms. Totally different worlds, totally different culture. For a start, women look at each other. For the most part, men don't look at each other. And I'll tell you for why. First time I'm in a men's changing room after swimming, and I saw this. I saw a man use the hairdryer to dry his feet. Now, as I saw him do this, I'm used to women's changing rooms, so I'm kind of looking around. Where is the wave of disapproval from everyone in the, which you would get? Have you ever seen a woman dry her feet with a hairdryer?
Why would you dry your feet with a hairdryer?
Well, I've never seen it in public. I never saw a woman dry her feet with a hairdryer. I've seen a man dry his entire body with a hairdryer. He's actually put his foot up on the chair, move his tackle to one side, and dry his crack with a hairdryer. And no one says a thing. I mean, we all just carry on, get dressed, No one says a thing. This is a bit of an awkward manoeuvre I'm about to do on stage. Because my towel's not quite big enough. It's nothing to do with me, it's my towel is at fault. Yeah, this is always awkward. I mean, I'm trying to recapture the awkwardness of a changing room, I hope you realise. Here's the thing. See, in your trunks, you get that nice little net bag for holding something. When I first started swimming, I thought I should put something in there, like a mock penis and testicle sort of situation, just to sort of blend in with the other boys. So I was thinking, well, what can I put in there? I come up with this idea. I'm naked. It just occurred to me, it's just like all those dreams you have, anxiety dreams. It's like, I'm here. So, I'm not dropping the towel. So, I'm thinking what to make a mock penis testicle situation for swimming. So I came up with this idea of a bath sponge, because I thought, well, then it could sit in the trunks, I'd come out the shower, I'd give it a subtle squeeze. I'll show you it. Now, I don't want you to be disappointed because chlorine has affected this. It has. It was bigger, but chlorine has made it small. This is what I was using. So I just had, it is very small. They shrink. They shrink in the water, So this would sit in the trunks. And then I got really worried. I was thinking, well, what say it was to float out of my trunk leg? Imagine seeing your penis maybe in the fast lane. The lifeguard fishing it out. And so I got so paranoid about it. I'd swim a length, and then I'd get to the other side, and I'd pat, just to check it was there. Okay, set. And then I'd swim another length, pat, swim another length, pat. And then one day I thought, I'm the only person in this pool touching their genital regions. People don't, do they? They don't, not in the pool. Not in the pool, So, and then I thought, well, as the object of the exercise is to blend in, I would stop this. So I don't wear anything there when I'm swimming anymore, but I do when I'm getting dressed. So this is, got to put my pants on. So this is exactly as awkward as it would be, except we're in a men's changing room, so no one would be looking at me. So maybe everyone can avert their eyes for this and pretend to be getting dressed yourselves.
Oh, well done.
All right, so pants are on. Now this next bit is where it's a little bit tricky, because I've got to put something in the pants. My choice would be this, a rolled up sock. And I'll tell you why rolled up sock wins every time. I'll show you this. Oh dear, I've dropped a rolled up sock on the floor. And the reason why I learned that is because, so when I was first, transitioning, I thought, I'll get one of those realistic ones. But spot the difference. Imagine children, maybe a school party of 15-year-olds. An ambulance was called. Children don't do this, it would be foolish. That would be silly. But, you know, I thought that would be silly, and then I thought, hold on a minute. It's urban camouflage, and we're in the inner city. So it may be the wisest choice, because it will be invisible. Urban camouflage. Isn't it funny? Why do people wear urban camouflage in the city, or let alone have an urban camouflage dick? So, for the most part, nobody looks. But sometimes they do. So I can talk a little bit about the times that they do look. So this one time, I'm getting dressed, ignoring everyone. Everyone's ignoring, everyone's just getting dressed, just put my trousers on. Just put my trousers on. And this guy, you know those kind of men that want attention? You know what I mean? Attention-seeking men. So he starts this whole thing. Had a good swim, everyone. And everyone's just ignoring him, you know, just getting dressed. Oh, you miserable bloody lot. I said, I had a good swim, you know, like we're in some kind of stand-up comedy club interactive thing, and it's just, everyone's squirming. I'm just kind of like, getting dressed. No, oh, you miserable. No one had a good swim. No one talked, like this, you know. It's la, 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 la. And then I can feel his eyes lock, you know. He's locked onto me. He's going to say something. Here, mate. God, no. Here, mate. Here, mate. And then I've got to look round because I'm thinking he's going to start using some sort of descriptive thing so that, oh no, he's talking to me. And I know he's talking to me, so I say, yes. And he says, here, mate, I know you're a tit man because you're trying to grow your own. And I'm thinking, oh, right. What to say? I don't know. So then, you know that thing when you get home, and then you think about what happened, and then you get all the witty lines? Yeah? It didn't happen. And that was 2 years ago, and I still don't know what to say. So this other time, I'm getting dressed, and I'm aware that I'm the only person in the changing room. And then a guy comes out of the shower. Now, he's kind of muscly, kind of big guy, you know, and he's got just like a little towel around his waist. And he's just comes out of the shower, and I was just doing my hair at the time. I was looking in the mirror. I'm just kind of in the mirror, doing my hair, aware of him here, reflected here. Comes back like this. All right, someone's come out of the shower. And then I think, he's looking at me. He's staring at me. He was just staring. So I could feel my cheeks going pink, and I'm thinking, all right, here we go. What's he going to say? Something's going to happen. No, cheeks going pink, cheeks going pink. He's just looking, he's just like this. And I'm thinking, he's kind of looking sort of angry and a bit scary, and I'm starting to sort of pack my stuff. And he's just looking. He's just staring. What's going to happen? Is he going to go and get somebody? They're going to come, they're going to have a word with me, two of them. So I'm just kind of, all right, make a sharp exit. And he's just standing there looking. And then, something happened. So he takes the towel from around his waist, and he puts it between his legs. And I don't know much about penises, is the truth. But he had like a semi-on, is that right? Like a kind of bit of a, and I'm like, oh, you know, I don't know what to do. I don't know this situation. He takes the towel and he does this. And he's looking at me and he's doing this. And I'm aflame with embarrassment. And my eyes are like saucers, because I've never seen such a thing. And he's going like this. And I'm like this. And I don't know what to do. So I take my stuff, because I don't know what to do. And my eyes are like saucers, and my cheeks are burning, and I go home. And I go in the door, and my eyes are like saucers, my cheeks are burning, and I sit down.
Serge Nicholson, Jason Barker. We co-produce a festival called Transfabulous Arts Festival International.
Earlier, we started out thinking that it was going to be a festival where people who were performers or artists who happened to be trans, so people who weren't necessarily having their work shown as a trans thing, would be able to perform at our festival. So that was the idea of it, really. It was a lot more like, if you like, it was more like a sort of transsexual festival, because it was more like people who perhaps were not necessarily like operating stealth, but in their normal life as artists or musicians, maybe no one knew, or maybe the audiences at least didn't know that they were trans. They weren't sort of trans performers. So we thought we'd make a space for them to perform to a trans audience. So it was quite kind of transsexual. And then by the second festival, I think we'd realised that we were sort of, rather than trying to cater for everyone like that, that it just opened up, it bloomed and blossomed, and we got to kind of know our audience as more of a trans queer crossover, you know, and actually people's trans status as performers or audiences became not so important. It's more about, it's work that looks at gender and the body, and, you know, so it's a very loose, fluid thing.
And I think it was also like bringing together our audience, our trans extended audience, in terms of they could bring their partners, their friends together, you know, to something as an audience to share with transgender artists. So that was new in terms of having a safe place, a place where you could come dressed how you wish, express yourself how you wish, and that was new.
On to education. Stimulating the mind, enriching the brain, growing our knowledge. Please welcome to the stage Miss Dorothy Fine.
Good evening, my name is Miss File. I am a psychologist in training. Tonight's discussion, which I've hastily put together, shooting from the hip as I do, it is about burlesque and cabaret, which, as we all know, was invented in 1942 by Sir the Fourth. It was the war, you see. The war was going on and everybody was getting badly confused because all these women were going to work and breaking with their gender norms, and so they had to have this lovely, very, very safe, very, very pleasant pornography to show to the men, to demonstrate to them that it's okay, don't worry, women are still sex objects and you can be and must be attracted to them. I'm a scientist. I go into the field and observe, not usually fields, actually more King's Cross, Soho, that kind of thing, to observe the queers in their natural environment. Often I go unaccompanied to blend in, as I do, dancing to their music. Excellent. Thank you very much. Yes, anyway, so I blend in, and I study, and I observe, and document, and make lots of paper that people tend not to read. It's the life of an academic. No, it's very important work, because these queers, they're rather poor souls, and what they've done, it's terribly, terribly worrying, they've reappropriated the cabaret and the burlesque for their own deviant needs. It's terrible, and I thought I'd come here today to demonstrate to you, lovely learned individuals like yourselves, what you can look out for. Should you enter into an establishment in King's Cross or in Soho, you know, you're going, oh, lovely, what a lovely evening. I thought I'd go into this, what it looks like a tea room, I'm sure it is. Lovely, wander in, oh, there's going to be some entertainment. Watch away, and it looks like ordinary heterosexual, safe, scrumptious pornography. Any ladies in the house, of course, would immediately leave, excuse themselves for the gentlemen to have their heterosexuality to be reinscribed. Should the ladies stay, of course, there would be uproar. But instead, something else happens, and your minds begin to expand and contract, expand, contract, expand, contract, and they warp and change and deviate and deviant, and all of a sudden you're thinking of Katie Lang or Melissa Etheridge. So I'm here to demonstrate to you the differences between normal, safe, heterosexual pornography, burlesque, and deviant, terrifying, horrifying. Queer. So should you go into any environment, go, oh my God, there it is. Miss File told me you can do what I prescribe. Simply register your complaint and exit quietly. Register your complaint and leave quietly. You don't need to do it now. Don't be afraid. Oh, I'm quite safe. I shan't change your minds about anything. No. I'm going to do a little demonstration and then we shall examine each movement. You may be in an establishment. There she is, doing her gyrating to the musics of today. And all of a sudden, she's grabbing her breath. No problem there. It's her own breath, not someone else's. No problem at all. Grabbing away. And all of a sudden, a totally inappropriate, masculinized image of strength is projected at the audience, confusing you. No! Register your complaint and exit. The next movement, there she is, just raising the skirt slightly above the knee. Oh my gosh, heavens no. Heterosexuality perfectly in place. And all of a sudden, oh my God, she's thrusting her pelvic region in your direction. No! You think, no! Inappropriate form of aggressive action from the feminine subject. Register your complaint and leave quietly. So the lady might be gyrating away, moving on her stripper pole. Stripper pole, no problem, by the way, phallus. Gyrating against, ooh, I'm subject to it. Patriarchy is reinscribed, oh, no problems at all. Oh my God, she signals the beard and moustache. Completely incorrect. The feminine subject, facial hair, no! Register your complaint and leave quietly. Now, I understand you may be confused. This might be tricky to, you're saying to me, but Miss File, heavens, I can see this in the distilled laboratory environment. It's so easy to see. I understand your reasoning and agree completely. But what happens in the field? Wandering around, oh, tea room, wandering, there she goes. You know, it's hard to tell, I can't quite tell. Is that a queer burlesque movement that distorts and deviates? Or is it normal, heterosexual, safe pornography? Ooh, I watched that bit, nice, there, lovely. Best go home to the wife and do whatever they do. So I shall demonstrate in context. We need some music, I think, some appropriate music. And I shall demonstrate in context, and we shall learn all together. Lovely. Ah, yes. Most sexual. Lovely. Okay, gyrating away, no problems here. No problem, heterosexuality. No, far too terrible. We'll have to carry on with the demonstration. Yes, doing much better. It's warming here, isn't it? Yeah, very warm, very warm. Carrying on, we have to keep going, here we go.
Here we are. Yeah. Dad, Mum. Eldest son, Jesse. Daughter, Paloma.
I came here and I saw the performances here and thought, hell, I can do that too. And then the next year, I was back here performing at the first genderqueer playhouse.
Actually, some of the best people that we've ever known are in the trans community. I mean, I didn't actually know any trans people that I can remember, and then met quite a number. And it's just it's the most creative community that I've come across. You know, everybody's doing something interesting, and even, you know, if they're not artists, everybody's interesting and lovely, because I suppose that the challenges that they've had to overcome have made them very broad people, maybe? Yeah.
Anyone can get involved, whether you're not trans or you're trans or you identify as genderqueer or how you look. There's no need to look a particular way. There's no, you're not trans enough or you're not queer enough or whatever. Anyone can be involved.
Was that a shoulder?
I hope I can.
Vita lam, har du någon null? How can you belong to us? You're so ugly, so wrong. You do not even look like you should. We are small and dark, and you're big and bright. I never thought it would be easy. But at some point, I thought it should have counted and meant something, that it wasn't my fault. I was born that way. It wasn't my choice. And at 5, it was already too late. Too late to change much. If you read development theory, you know that by 5, the child's brain is by 90% developed, and you already have characteristics that will follow you in later life. I was made as something in the middle. You created me. With parents like you and a family like mine, where all shared the hardship and worked together, who was what was never on the agenda. But as a sailor princess, I had to survive. I had to learn how to fight. Because not every home and not every place is like my first home. Boys are sitting there and girls over there, said the teacher. All of us in the middle. Walked around aimlessly and had nowhere to be. One day in the playground, I understood so much that playing in the mud, wearing my princess wear, wasn't okay. Because my Y-fronts showed under my pink ballerina dress. As a tall 13-year-old, I got spotted as the next big talent. Boxing became my home, and I learned all I needed to know about camaraderie and fairness in the sweaty training hall under the stadium, where the changing room was one, and we shared the hot water after our exercises with the skipping ropes and punch bags. Now the teacher screamed a little bit louder. Boys are sitting in the front, girls hide in the back. 14 years old, puberty hit like a rocket missile. In the training hall, I became known as the fastest hitting missing target. I flew around, smashing my fist left, right, and then back again. The style wasn't beautiful, but raw. It was a genuine anger that risen through my body. My arms became my brain. My brain became my genitals. And my genitals, I didn't understand. Hard and wet, they were a mix of emotions. And I didn't understand or know what to do with them. I got kissed for the first time at 15. It was sweet and soft and lovely first, but then my lips were bitten raw to pulp by this heavy beauty, a few years older than me. The story didn't last. I hadn't figured out what I wanted and what I needed. The training and camaraderie at the gym was my home and total existence. You could have been something if we only knew what you were. Being refused to be part of the Olympic team, my whole life crashed one sunny Thursday afternoon. I fled the country that till then had been called my home. I went on a search for fellow oddballs with hard hands and wet soft eyes. XX. And why? My lovely soft boxing gloves were left behind in a burnt down stadium. For a few years, I made a home in London town. It was busy and crowded, and the friends were many. We got together and shared the love for something in between, something in the middle, something for sir, madam, and whatever. The eyes that looked at me saw what they needed to see, and I was everyone's stereotype. That suited me fine. In my professional career as a gender spy, I could pass as every given gender. My disguise never changed. Only the surroundings and people's perceptions. Hi, honey. I like what I see. You are exactly what I look for. You look like the lover, the partner, the woman, the man I always wanted and dreamt of. Why are you not as I dreamt you to be? Why is the real you so confusing? The real you makes me look gay, straight, queer, butch, lesbian. And the door slammed. Sex was always a hassle. Either I had too much or too little. I got lucky when I met fellow fighters. And during many years, we kept up the fight. Sometimes the fight in the bedroom were taken out on the streets just to survive and to make a statement. Being seen and discovered is a blessing. And I have been lucky to have had it many times. Today, I'm here celebrating at the Lovers and Fighters Convention with you, and I'm happy to see you all. I haven't stopped fighting, because all of us who are what we are always have to keep on fighting. Fighting all corners is hard, but well worth it. So don't give up the fight.
The person whose jacket doesn't do up on one of their costumes.
Can I finish? Do you mind if I just...
They wanted a queer, gender different performance. So I went out and I talked to a lot of people. I've performed in different areas in different ways, and brought in as eclectic a group as possible. People who were performing or who had just started performing or performed for a long time.
And we performed before together,
Yeah.
so that was kind of easy for us to kind of slot in and just know.
But I wanted
what we were
people
gonna
to
do.
do something really personal. And Thomas, I asked to come in and do something you hadn't done for a long time, which was sing.
Which was indeed sing.
Which was fabulous. I mean, you hadn't sung in quite some time.
Since I was a soprano, so that was quite different.
And now no longer.
And now no longer.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to bring you now one of our international features from the catwalks of Paris. We bring you fashion.
The original plan was when we first started Trans Fabulous, it was right at the cusp of trans people being able to change their birth certificates. So it was right at just as the gender reassignment certificates came in.
Gender Recognition Act.
Gender Recognition Act. So it was just when that came around. What we were thinking is like, well, this is fantastic, this is great, and it's great that people have the option, but it's also then very easy for that kind of the transness to just slip away. You know, people can transition, and then it's like the history can be erased. And we were thinking, well, let's make something so that this history isn't erased and so that stories are still being told. And so we actually have a culture, which is what we wanted, a culture of transness that wouldn't be just kind of lost into a change of birth certificate and, you know, living a different life.
I don't have a typical feminine or body, and I don't have a very masculine body. I have this kind of oddball mix in between, which you don't normally see, and one of the things was to kind of show that sort of body type that you never really see. It's not going to grace any magazines or anything like that, but sort of show that sort of body on stage and just sort of say you can be exactly who you want to be. Just reject all of these constraints and that people put on you saying you should be this or you should be that. Really, it was a chance to get naked. I could get laid from this. Welcome. I'm here tonight to talk to you about manners and etiquette. Many of you may not have been to a place such as this before, and there are some differences in language that you need to be aware of. For example, when they say pass, they are not talking about an overtaking manoeuvre on the A25. When they say pack, they are not talking about fitting your weekend clothing for Lanzarote into your Ryanair carry-on. When they say sub, they are not talking about a ubiquitous fast food available in a 6 or a 12 inch. When they are talking role play, they are not asking about the adventures of your 50th level wizard, thief, druid, mage, elf. When they are talking water sports, they are not discussing a scuba diving weekend in Goa. While they may have many wooden clothes pegs, their flat does not have a washing line. When you arrive and there are many white candles burning, it is not for the fine romantic ambiance. And while they may have many ropes and carabiners, they are not into climbing.
If that makes sense. One of them actually bursts.
You can only contain that sort of thing so long.
So, I think imagine if Thomas is playing the older gentleman, I'm the younger, quite prim but still a little had a past that's been concealed
Working your way
very
up,
well.
so to speak.
Back to another educational feature. It's a lecture on feminist issues.
Feminist? What on earth is that, Bunty?
Well, I don't rightly know, Ginty, but I wager we'll soon find out.
All right. Wow. The 80s. Was anybody else there? The 80s was a wonderful time for me. When I left home and discovered feminism and lesbians. But oh my God, the clothes. Yeah, as we waved goodbye to the 80s, I felt the pull of sadness in my heart. Oh no. No more lavender dungaree sets. No more women's consciousness raising groups. No more totally respectful, equal partnered, woman identified woman, lesbian, vanilla sex. I went out to the nearest store, bought myself a slutty push-up bra, some sexy underwear, a tub of hair removal cream, and some lady shave razors. I never was a very good earth mother. I gotta tell you, I never did buy that whole line about essentialism. I'm a girl, but there's no way that relates to any true notion of what a woman is. Me? I'm your bastard daughter, white trash whore, sister, bitch, goddess, fuck you in the ass, nightmare kind of a girl. Ah, I'm the kind of girl who loves her switchblade. Ladies? Women? How is that spelt? I have word for you of a new social movement. Actually, we've been around a hell of a long time, but before now we were considered a bit too oppressed to be liberated. And it's taken us this long to kick the fucking door down. This is not the first wave. It's not the second wave. This is not even the backlash. Ladies, I present to you Femme. My mama was the uber femme. Beautiful, immaculately dressed, so perfectly feminine. From her, I learned everything. How to walk, how a real girl talks, and how to behave. To speak softly, to laugh at the right moments. To carefully calculate the effect of my movements on those who watched me. Growing up with my mum was like going to geisha school. Talk about femme. And I try to explain, I know it's a construction. I know I have some pretty heavy conditioning. Getting rid of my femness would be like trying to remove my bones. There's so much internal fakery that makes up the real me. So many heavily fetishized objects to which I attach my identity. My fascination with the external symbols. The clothes, the shoes, the wigs, the makeup. I know that stuff is crappy make-believe. But what I want to explain is that when I put on this drag, this fake, this costume, that's when the outside begins to match the inside. When I dress up, I'm becoming who I really am. I was having a conversation with this young intellectual butch the other day. Actually, she was giving me a bit of a lecture. Talking about butch fame. I think she was educating me, yeah. She said to me, surely you have to realise that butch is the first and foremost weapon in the fight against patriarchy. By rejecting the feminising of women's bodies, we're reclaiming ourselves and showing men that we're not here for their amusement or entertainment.
80s.
It's amazing though. Being femme does mean that you're endowed with certain magical powers. It's true. For example, the power of invisibility. I'm cruising down the street in a macho femme kind of a way. Feeling hot because I just fucked my girl till she's a messy heap on the floor. Cruising along, cock of the walk, no one better fuck with me. And this guy in the street catches my eye and gives me a wink. Like it's all for him. Jesus, can't he tell I'm a faggot? The other side of passing, I call that knowing the tricks of the trade. If you dress like a girl, you've got to be smart to play the con. On the train, crossing out of Slovenia, I suggest that we fuck. She's out in the hallway smoking a cigarette, and I keep flirting with her, flashing her at my underwear, lifting up my skirt. Back in the train compartment, she's shy. Like always, I'm the devil's advocate, talking her into it. Come on, don't be a pussy. She draws the curtains, and she's genuinely scared. Me? I don't get it. What's to worry about? I strap on a dick under my pretty pink skirt and get her down on the carriage floor. I tease her, calling her a sissy boy, my little faggot cocksucker, grabbing her hair and pulling her head back to tease her lips with my cock. And just as she's really getting into giving me a bit of good head, the ticket inspector comes to check out tickets. He flicks aside the curtains, and as soon as he sees her down on the floor, he says, "Excuse me," and he backs out. He's the one who apologises for interrupting our little game. My girl, woo, she's really freaked out. But me, I just rearrange my skirt, smile at him in a sexy, coy kind of a way, holding my bitch close, and he leaves us alone. It's just like I always thought it would be. We've just passed again, riding the wave of heterosexual privilege. In the Cross, the red light district of Sydney, everyone calls me Kitty. My friend, Tammy Jo, sometimes she's still a rent boy, depending on what the client wants. But for a while now, she's been Tammy Jo in real life and for work. Talking about a job she did last night, she says to me, "Girl, guess what? I licked pussy!" And I'm so caught up in her identity and like the idea that she's never had sex with a woman before that I say, "Ooh, really?" I can't get my head around it. I'm genuinely revolted. Now, I just happen to have with me a 1977 copy of Our Bodies, Ourselves. I was looking in the section on lesbian sex. Just, wanted to know if I was doing it right. And here's what it says. Kissing is the first and foremost activity of lesbian sex. Wait. Which may lead to other activities. Now this is an ongoing problem. Everyone always asks, what do lesbians do in bed? And you look in a book written by fucking lesbians and not even they know. So, I'm playing with this young trans boy. I've got him down on his knees on the floor, and I say to him, "Jack off! I want to see you jack off. I'm going to piss in your mouth while I watch you come." And he looks a bit nervous. But what he says is, "I have to go and get my cock." This is one of those pauses that can be a bit of a scene killer. But anyway, he goes and gets his cock, he comes back, and holding his dick between his legs, he jacks off. Just like a real boy would. And I'm fascinated. Because just the night before in my room, I've been trying to figure out how to do exactly the same thing. Me and my mate, she's another fan of the trashy hardcore variety, we have a lot of conversations along those lines. There we are, rifling around in our handbags. And all fame and everything. And we say, wow, it's that conversation, if I had a real cock, this is what it would be like. Except, of course, bigger. Isn't it funny how it all comes back to cock? Sometimes that really worries me. How did I get to be such a dick for brains? Freud would have something to say about that. Phallic symbols. High heels, a stiletto heel, yes. Phallic symbol. And another thing. Knife. Of course, phallic symbol. Strap on. Well, angels, it's not a fucking symbol. And the strangest thing of all, apparently apparently the feminine woman herself, that's right, represents a penis. So, if I'm a chick and I'm standing here and I'm wearing high heels, I've got a knife and a strap on. Basically, that means I'm standing here with 5 fucking dicks. Count it through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. Darlings, I got a little something for you.
Well, that certainly was a community learning experience.
Indeed, most indeed.
Next. And so ends our broadcast day. Brought to you this afternoon and this evening with our media partners, the Trans International Recruiting Conspiracy. We thank them, and for telling children since 1972, be a tranny. It's big, it's clever, and it's what all the cool kids are doing.
You know, the nights we do are very, very simple, you know, really simple. I mean, we've done nights with, you know, just like in a small room with acoustic music and comedy and tea and cake, because, you know.
I would say that this same thing could be done elsewhere. You could do the same thing somewhere else in terms of starting up a Transfabulous festival, a Transfabulous picnic, a Transfabulous spoken word thing. You just start some things up.
And my partner comes up to me and she says, "What's wrong? What happened to the gym?" And I'm like, "Amanda did a thing." And then a little bit later, I think, I was only blooming cruise, wasn't I?